Okay. Today, what we're going to do is that we start talking in terms of the Java implementation, how this uh, MapReduce program has to be implemented. Okay. We also look into how many classes are required, how many classes are required. Okay. And we will also see the templates that we are going to use for the purpose of creating these MapReduce programs also as well. Okay. This is something that we're going to see. That we are going to see today. Okay. So one thing that we do here is MapReduce high level steps. MapReduce high level steps. High level steps. MapReduce high level steps like this. Okay. First thing what we need to do is that we'll start talking about the primitive Java types. Primitive Java types and the associated wrapper classes. Wrapper classes. Okay. And similarly, what you are going to do is that this is with respect to Java. Okay. But when we are trying to write programs in Hadoop or with respect to HDFS, we also have something called as box classes that exist. Box classes that exist. Box classes that exist here. Okay. So yesterday, what we were discussing is we were discussing something called as key value pairs. You were discussing, right? If you remember. So those key value pairs might be uh, in some places it is going to be integers. In some places it is going to be uh, characters, as well as some places it is going to be strings, and all those things we have seen. Okay, now today what we do is that let us start discussing about the primitive data types what you are having here. We have integer, as well as we have float, float, as well as we have double, as well as we have this long, as well as we have this string here, and along with this one we have this character that exists, right? These are the primitive data types what you are having here. Okay. Now, what is the corresponding wrapper class? See, these are the things that we are going to use. These are the data types that we are going to use for the purpose of declaring the variables. Okay. And the associated wrapper classes what you are having here is we have this integer. Integer is a class, right? Integer is a class. They are called as the object classes what we call here. Okay. And for float, what you are having here is we have this float that exists, and you have this double. So for this double, we also have something called as double here, double here, and for long, we have this long that exists, long that exists. For string, sorry, this is a small string here. This is a small string here, and here you're going to have the string that exists here. String that exists here, and for char, you are going to have a particular thing called as character. These are the wrapper classes that exist. Okay, these are the wrapper classes that exist within your Java. If you are writing a plain vanilla Java program, okay, these are the object classes that we use. These are the object classes that we use, and obviously what you have is you also have these data types that we can use for the purpose of writing. Okay, but since we are going to write the Hadoop based Java programs, or else the HDFS based Java programs, what we need to do is that we need to understand the primitive Java. We need to understand the primitive types which are there in HDFS as well as the corresponding wrapper classes. Okay, the corresponding wrapper classes in the sense the corresponding box classes. We use the term called as box classes in the case of HDFS. So first, let us try to see the primitive data types what you are having here. We'll try to see the primitive data types you are having here. Okay, so here also you have the same integer that exists here. The same integer that exists here, and along with this one, you are going to have the float. You have the float that exists, okay, and you have the double. We have the double, okay, along with you have this long here, as well as you have the string that exists here. You have the string that exists here. This is nothing but the string that exists here. Okay. Now, when we see this corresponding box classes, what you're having here is that you don't have this int here, but here what you do is that we call this one as int writable. We call this one as int writable. And for float, what you're having here is you have this float writable that exists. For double, you have this double writable. You have this double writable that exists. For long, you have this long writable. You have this long writable that exists. And for string, what is the thing that you are having here is you have the text that exists here. You have this text that exists here. Okay, these are the primitive data types that you are having here. These are all the primitive data types that you are having here. Okay, now one thing that you need to understand here is that what are all the key value pairs that you're going to write, what are all the key value pairs that you're going to use within your Java based Hadoop programs or in your MapReduce programs. What should happen is that all these key value pairs should be of the object data types, should be of the object classes. What are those object classes here? It should be of the int writable, it should be of the float writable, as well as it should be double writable, long writable, along with this text like this. Okay, now one thing that you need to understand is that especially when you want to perform some functions, especially when you want to perform some calculations, you cannot perform the calculations on these box classes here. Obviously, what has to be done here, you need to convert them into the primitive data types for the purpose of doing these calculations. You need to typecast, or else you need to do the type conversion for the purpose of doing the conversion between these particular classes like this. Okay, now the thing what is going to happen is you need to really understand how can we have the option of making these conversions that will happen here, making the conversions that will happen here. Okay, for example, you have an integer which is of primitive data type in Java, but what you want to do is that you'd like to convert that one into iterable. I would like to convert that one into iterable. Then in such a case, what I need to do is that I need to write specify something called as new int writable of new int writable of int I need to specify. New int writable of int I need to specify. That means that for the purpose of converting this base integer value, into this iterable variable, what you need to do is that you need to create a class, and within this particular class, you need to pass this particular integer as a parameter like this. Okay. Similarly, for the purpose of converting your iterable into the integer, then what you need to do is that you need to start using this get function. So the get function is basically used to convert your iterable. The get function what you're having here is basically used to convert your iterable into this integer value like this. is expected to convert this integer value like this. This is clear, guys. Shashank, Murli, and Kamran. Is this point clear to you?
Yes, it's clear.
Yes, Ravi.
Okay. Yeah. And for the purpose of converting your string in the primitive data types, what you're having here, you're having this string here, right? You have this string here. This is your string. But what I want to do, I want to convert this one into the text. In such a case, what I need to do here, I need to specify this one as, so see here, you have the string, okay, and within this particular string, you would like to convert this one into text. You would like to convert this one into text. So in such a case, what you need to do, you need to specify something called as new string of, sorry, new text of string I need to specify for the purpose of converting this one here. Okay, but for the purpose of converting your text into string, then what I need to do is that I need to specify something called as toString of I need to specify. toString of I need to specify this. toString of. So that means that for the purpose of converting text, sorry, string, for the purpose of converting string to text, we need to use this one here. toString of text I need to specify like this. toString of text I need to specify like this. So here one thing we need to understand, if an int is converted into int writable, you need to specify new int writable of int, new float writable of float, new double writable of double, as well as new long writable of long. Okay, and for converting these things into the integer, what I need to do, I need to specify something called as get function. I need to use get function. So this get function is basically used to convert from your box classes to your primitive data types. And similarly, for converting the string to the text, what you need to do is that you need to specify something called as new text of string that we need to use. And similarly, for converting text to the string, you need to specify something called as toString of you need to use basically. Okay, these are the things that you need to really understand. These are all the things that you need to really understand. So Kamran, is it clear to you? Divya?
Yeah, it's clear to me.
Yes, Ravi.
Okay, so these are the primitive data types that you need to understand. And second thing that you need to understand here is there are some rules that you need to follow with respect to your key value pairs. There are some rules that you need to follow with respect to your key value pairs, and let us see what are those particular specific rules that we are trying to understand here. Specific rules that we are trying to understand here. First thing is key value pairs, key value data types. Key value data types should be of object types. Object types. That means that whatever all the key value pairs what you are having here should be of these object types. What are those object types? They might be the int writable, float writable, double writable, long writable, or this text that we need to use. Long writable are the text that we need to use here. Okay, and the second thing that we need to understand here is values may be same. Okay, but keys need to be unique. Okay, across your entire see here what is happening here, all your mappers yesterday what you have seen. Okay, hi, how are you? Okay, how are you doing and how are your family? How is your family? How is your job? So in such a case, what happens here? How is something which is being repeated more than once, right, Kamran? Suppose if you try to see like this, if this is the if this is the key value pairs that you are having here. For first mapper, what you have got is that you got something like high one, okay, how one, as well as R1 and U1. Okay, this is for the first line of the mapper, first record of the mapper. And second point, what you're having here, you're going to have something as again high one is there. How is one, your one, as well as family one. Okay, like that you are having here. So what is the key here? This key is nothing but your this key is your how, as well as this key is your how here. But what I'm saying here, values might be same, but keys need to be unique. So doesn't mean that it is going to violate this rule here, Shashank. Don't you think that it is violating that rule, Shashank?
Yes, Ravi. There are the keys are you have to how two hops, so they can't be unique there.
So they cannot be unique. Okay. In such a case, how are you going to rectify that one? How are you going to rectify that one? We are going to rectify with the help of a process called as the shuffle and sort, right? We are using
Yes,
something called as
shuffle
shuffle
and
and
shift.
sort for the purpose of, yeah, for the purpose of combining. Okay. And the third point that we need to understand is that all the keys need to be homogeneous. 1 minute. All the keys need to be homogeneous. Homogeneous. Why are we saying something like homogeneous? That means that they should be of the same data type. Okay, so that it can be comparable, as well as we can also have the option of sorting those particular keys also as well. Why? Because sorting or shuffling is basically being done based on the keys only, right? Is basically done based on the keys only. So that's why what has to be done is that keys has to be compared, and then they need, for the purpose of keys to be compared, they need to be homogeneous, and while they are being homogeneous, what we can do is that we can compare, as well as we can have the option of arranging them either in the ascending order or in the descending order, basically. So these are the rules that you need to remember for the purpose of writing your MapReduce programs. Understood? So what are your primitive data types, and what are your primitive data types within Hadoop? What are your primitive data types within Hadoop? So what are all the base data types you're having? Those are there. But what are your box or object classes, object types you are having here? And also I told you key value data type should be of the object types. But how are we going to convert? Well, because when you're trying to create perform your arithmetic calculations, the for loops, the while loops, and all the coding structures, when you're using, they have to be operated only within the primitive data types only. Okay, but while exchanging the interfaces, what are those interfaces? Like mapper will be passing the output to the record writer will be passing the output to the mapper. Mapper will be passing the output to the shuffle and sort. Shuffle and sort will be populating the output to the which one? Will be populating the output to the record writer.
Reduce.
Reduce will be populating the output to the record writer. So between these interfaces, when you want to have your parameters to be exchanged, all these parameters has to be exchanged with the help of this box data types only. They are nothing but the object types. These are the things that we need to understand. Is it clear, guys? Are any questions?
What is the reason we cannot pass as the primitive?
See, have you ever worked in Java? Kamran, this is
Yeah,
the first time.
yeah, I work with the Java, but in Java you can pass the primitive type as,
But
and
when
you
you have the interfaces as well as you have the abstract classes, right? You remember? When you
yeah,
have the interfaces and the abstract classes, there are predefined interfaces that are defined, which we need to implement those interfaces in our programs. Okay,
yeah,
when
correct,
you
in
are
the form.
in the form. So in such a case, those methods what you are having here will be having a particular interface. The interface also will define those particular parameters. Okay, and all these parameters what you're having here has been defined by these libraries which we are going to use. So in such a case what happens is hadoop.core.jar, these are the libraries that we use. Okay, so the others of these MapReduce people has developed all those particular mappers, any class or any interface which is going to implement these override those particular methods should have those box data types that has to be implemented. So that's why it is a mandate that we need to go ahead and then start using those particular things only. Got my point?
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, or we are good?
So basically, Ravi, so we perform shuffle and sort only by keys, not by values, right?
Obviously, right? We perform shuffle and sort only by keys only, right? What is the key here? High is the key, how is the key, and R is the key, and U is the key. Okay, so when you want to shuffle and sort, obviously what has to be done? The keys has to be same. The keys has to be same in the sense the keys should be of the same homogeneous data type for the purpose of comparison, right? If the keys are not of the same data type, how can you compare? So to enable these things to be compared, that is the way that we would like to go with these things, Shashank.
Okay, Ravi. Yeah.
These are clear what we are doing.
Yes, Ravi, I'm good with what is going on.
Okay, great. This one, we specify this one as what is this one? Hadoop data types. Map reduce types. Those types. Say this one. Now we need to start writing the programs, right? So for the purpose of writing these programs, how many interfaces you are having here? For the purpose of writing these programs, how many interfaces you are having here? You need to write a mapper class, okay? You need to write a reducer class, as well as you also need to write something called as a driver class. I hope everybody understands. You can have any number of classes that can be defined within Java program, okay? But there should be one specific class, okay? There should be one specific class that should have the main method, okay? That is the main method. The class which is going to have the main method is going to drive all your remaining classes, right? Kamran, you know this one, right? Kamran, Murli, Shashank, and
This
Divya.
is clear to me.
So
Yes,
that's why in the mapper we are going to put all this mapper logic. In the reducer we are going to keep all this reducer logic, okay? But the record reader, the record writer, and then calling passing the parameters to the mapper, and then getting the output, passing the parameters to the reducer, and then getting the output, and then the shuffle and sort, and then finally writing the data to that particular file, okay? All these are the things that has to be written with the help of this driver class only, and the driver class is the place where your orchestration of your logic or the sequential of your logic should be kept within your driver class only, okay? So if anybody is expected to write these MapReduce programs, okay, the first thing that has to happen is you have to have all these three classes that need to be defined in perfection, okay? So we need to write a mapper class. We need to write a, see guys, I will be taking the class till 11:15 my time, okay? We'll be writing the mapper class, we'll be writing this reducer class, as well as we'll be talking about what is the next one? Driver code or driver class we need to talk. So first let us go ahead and then talk about this mapper class. Okay, we talk about this mapper class. Anybody tell me what is the purpose of this mapper class? What the mapper class is going to do?
it takes
What?
the input from the record reader and then pass it to the interface where the shuffle and sort happens.
Yeah,
and keep
shuffle and
value.
sort what happens here. So that means that don't it need to split the data? It need to split the data, right? It needs to split the data and accordingly it need to pass the data. So that's why assume that you have a record reader that is going to pass the output. Okay, how it is going to pass the output? Assume that in yesterday's class you have seen this is your 0 followed by hi, how are you? This is what is your uh, this is what is your first record. Okay, first record. Okay, now this is something that is expected to come as input to your mapper. Is expected to come onto your mapper here. Okay, so the program what I'm going to write is see here. I'm going to write this mapper code. Mapper code. Okay, and what I'm doing is that I'm trying this one as word mapper.java. .java. Okay, so first what I need to do here, I need to start with public. Please try to follow the syntax here, very, very important. I'll try to follow the syntax here. This is word mapper. The word mapper, what you are seeing here, every class, whenever you are trying to write it in class, it should start with the capital letter, and the subsequent word what you are having also should start with the uh, capital letter only. Okay, so if you are trying to define this particular class, this is a normal class, just like the way you are writing in Java. Okay, but what we are doing here, we are trying to write the specialized Java classes. Okay, specialized Java classes that will be having so much great amount of significance in writing these MapReduce programs. So when you want to have this particular class, okay, to simulate the functionality of the mapper, obviously what it needs to do is that it needs to extend MapReduce base. It needs to extend this MapReduce base. Why? Because MapReduce base is nothing but a predefined class in Java library. Hadoop, and I told you right, there is a jar file called as hadoop.core.jar with hadoop-core.jar. That is the jar file that you need to import, and within that one, this is the class that is going to exist, MapReduce class. Okay, not only that one, it should extend. Obviously, what it need to do is that it need to implement. Okay, a particular interface. That interface is called as mapper. Okay, within this mapper, what we need to do is that we need to specify the input parameters that you are getting, as well as we need to specify the output parameters also as well. So what is the input parameter? The input parameter is the 0. 0 is what is called as what? 0 is nothing but your integer. Okay, but what is the corresponding object class for that integer? The object class for integer is nothing but your what you can say, int writable. But one thing, I don't want to use this int writable, but I want to use this long writable. Okay, and what is the value that you're having here? The value is nothing but the text. So these are the two input parameters that you're having here. And what is the output parameters? The output parameters is high one, how one. Okay, high one, how one, then nothing but the text. Okay, and one specifies the count that is being repeated. In such a case, I start using this one as int writable. Int writable I need to use. Writable I need to use like this. So this is what is the signature. What we do is that we generally call these things as signatures in this case here. Signatures of a class. So any mapper class that you are going to write, that particular class should have these following signatures. It should be a class, it should be a you need to specify the name of the class, followed by it is going to extend. So the moment once we start using something as extend, it is going to inherit all the functionality that has been defined in those particular base class. That base class is nothing but the map reducer base, and then it should also implement this mapper. So what is that mapper? That mapper is nothing but an interface. Okay, so I expect you guys to have the familiarity about the interfaces, what is implements, what is extends, and what are all the things these things are going to do. Okay, so obviously, if a particular class, if a user-defined class is going to implement an interface, it is expected to override one of the methods that is existing in that interface. It is expected to override one of the methods that is existing in that interface. Guys, is it clear to you now? What are we doing and why are we doing this one? If this is clear, please let me know, then I can go on to the next step. Kamran?
Ravi,
Yes,
it's
clear.
a
Yeah, Divya, tell me.
it's a key value pair. We can say that two are input and two are going to be the output. What if there is some other case?
Some other case in the sense? See,
Uh,
I
we
had
have
told you yesterday, any mapper or any reducer functionality, what you're going to do is going to accept only key value pairs only. Is going to accept only the key value pairs only. Other things they are not going to accept. Okay, so that is the reason what we need to do is that we are using a reducer record writer interface as well as we are using the record writer interface for the purpose of passing these key value pairs as input as well as receiving those key value pairs as output. It only understands key value pairs. Divya.
so the things like text input format and sequence file input format, those are input to the record writer or reader,
Yeah,
not mapper.
not mapper. Never in any case. Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Now, the next thing what we need to do is that I need to see if I'm going to define this class. Let me tell you. 1 minute. Okay. I need to start defining this curly brace as well as I need to end this curly brace also like this, right? I need to end this curly brace also as well. Okay. Now here I need to define the methods, or else I need to define the variables, or else I need to define the methods. Okay. But one thing that you need to understand here is uh, whenever any class is going to implement that interface, it is expected to override one of the methods that is existing in the interface. It is expected to override one of the methods that is existing in the interface. So what we need to do here, one interface that is there, one method that is there, that method is called as the map method. So here what we need to do is that we need to specify something as public void map. Okay, within this particular map, we need to define these values. What are those values here? The first one is your long writable. The first one is your long writable, and within this long writable, and then you're going to have something called as the comma text. Okay, then you are going to have the output values, right? What are those output values? One is nothing but the text, and second thing is the int writable. Int writable. Okay, so that text and int writable are going to be specified with the help of a predefined class. The output class is nothing but the output collector. Output output collector, and within this collector you are going to have these two values as the parameters, that is text comma, what is that one, int writable, right? Int writable, this one you need to specify, and for this one I need to give the reference. Okay, the reference what I'm doing is that I'm going to give this one as the output here. Okay, now there is one more reference that we are using. That reference is called as the reporter. and we call this one as R like this. We call this one as R like this. Okay. So this is what is the signature of your overriding of a particular method that is existing within your mapper. How we are doing here? We are specifying public void map. Within this one, this is long writable. Okay. What is the value of the long writable here? The long writable is nothing but the key, right? What is the key here? That key is nothing but 0. So I can define this one as 0 for this one, right? This is 0. And what is the text here? This text is nothing but your value. What is the value here? This is your text here. See here, long writable. What I'm doing is that I'm trying to define this one as a key. I need to, long writable is a class. For that one, I need to define the variable. That variable is nothing but your key. Okay. And for this text, I need to define a value, right? This value is nothing but the reference variable that I'm using. Reference variable. And what is the value of this reference variable? The value of your reference variable is hi. How are you? This is what is your reference variable, and then you have this output collector and then the report writer. So this is, that means that 0 is passed to this key value as well as hi how are you is being passed to this value in this particular case. Is this clear now, Divya?
Yes, Ravi, it's clear. What is the
Prashant?
function of reporter?
Reporter I'll be telling you. Reporter I'll be telling you once we go on to the reducer, and then once we come on to the driver code class, I'll be telling you what is the function of the reporter. This is a mandate that we need to use, but please give me some time till I complete the entire functionality of your MapReduce. Okay?
Okay, fine.
So Murli, is it clear to you now?
Yeah, Ravi. Yeah.
See, whatever you have understood till yesterday is one thing. Okay, but whatever you are going to understand from today is going to be the different game that we are going to do. Kamran, I hope you are clear on what I'm saying. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so this is what is the one that you are having here. Now, let me complete one thing. So, can we conclude what is something that we need to do in this? What is something that we need to do in this mapping logic? Can anybody tell me? What should we do in this mapping logic?
Read records out of that record writer output, and then
Record reader output. Record
set
reader output.
record reader output and set key value pairs for the output from the
So
mapper.
my next question to you is that how should we set the key value pairs? Is my question. How should we set the key value?
I think we need to arrange all the keys, sorry, all the values from the input into an array and then split them by a
That's what I
delimiter
meant.
space.
There you go. That is a place where we need to split. That is a place where we need to split, right? That means that hi, how are you? What you're having here has to be splitted. In what way it has to be splitted? So each and every split is going to be a key. Each and every split is going to be a key. Okay. So we need to take that value from your record reader, and we need to start splitting based on a certain predefined logic. And based on that logic, once we split, we need to wrap them. We need to wrap them once again into the. We need to wrap them once again into the which one? Key value pairs for the purpose of passing it as input to the shuffle and sort or whatever it is. This is the logic that we need to do. Okay. So one thing what we need to understand. So this is what is your method, and in this method also you're going to have. This method also you're going to have this one. What is this one here? This one. You're going to have this one. So within this one, what should we do? Tell me. I need to declare a variable. That variable is nothing but the string variable. That variable is nothing but the string variable. Okay, as I have told you, right? if we want to do any arithmetic comparisons and all, you will not be able to do with the Hadoop based box types or whatever it is. What is that Hadoop based box type? Here you have this text. With the help of this text, we will not be able to do anything. Text is being used only to receive the input as well as to pass the output to the other interfaces. Okay, but internally when we want to convert that one, it has to be converted into the primitive data types. So I have given you the list of the primitive data types, right? Where I have shown you. Where are those primitive data types I have told you? These are the primitive data types, right? Save. This is your mapper, right? This is your mapper logic we are reading here. Save this one. So see here. This is your text. What I need to do here? I need to convert this text into the string. So for the purpose of converting the text into the string, what should I do here? I need to use something called as the toString of for converting your text into the string. Got this one? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So one thing what we need to do that I need to create this one as string s is equal to what is this value here? You are trying to hold this hi, how are you in this particular reference parameter. What is the reference parameter? The reference parameter is nothing but the value. So string is equal to value dot 1 minute. Value dot what should I specify here? I need to specify toString. I need to define like this. Okay, so once it is defined, what should I do here? I need to process this string into a loop. I need to process this string into a loop so that what it will do here, it will split the string. Wherever you are going to get this null, it will split those words and then will emit those particular words. Okay, so today let me write the logic here, and maybe on Monday I'll explain you the concept what I'm going to do here. Okay, so see here. So for the purpose of processing, I can have the loops that can use. So for now, I'm trying to use this for loop. So I'll specify something called as a string. I'm using a variable which is called as word. Okay, but what I do is that I want to use the splitter. So that is I'll specify something called as a split of. See, a split function or any other function what you're going to use has to be applied only in the primitive data types, but should not be applied in those box types or the Hadoop data types that we cannot apply. That is the reason we need to use this one here. Okay, split off. I need to specify this null here. Okay, let me do one thing. For start split off. Split off. Okay. What I do is I need to use this one as well as I need to close this one also as well. And here I'll specify here. So that means that I have a word that is splitted now, right? I have a word that is splitted. So I need to make sure that this word should not be null. This word should not be null. So that's why I'll try to use a condition. What is that condition is if word is going to be greater than, or else if word dot length word dot length is going to be greater than 0, if word dot length is going to be greater than 0, see, whenever you are using a function, you need to make sure that you are trying to put the parenthesis like this, right? Is going to be greater than 0. Obviously, what I need to do is that I need to specify the output. So, what is the parameter that is going to talk about the output here? Guys, can you tell me? What is the parameter that is going to talk about the output here?
Output collector.
Output, right? Yeah. So I need to specify something called as output dot. Okay. So for I need to collect these values, right? So for the purpose of collecting, I need to use something called as collect function, collect method. Then, so now your data is there in the word, right? Your data is there in the word, but in what form I need to submit the information to the next set of interfaces? I should not use the primitive data types, but I need to present them in the object data types. So how can I present that one? How can I convert this string data into the text data? Can anybody tell me?
Use the casting, do the casting.
No, I told you here, right? I need to use something called as new text of. New text of. I need to use something called as word. This should be done. I need to use something called as word like this. Okay. Then, so for hi, I need to present 1. For how, I need to present 1. For 2, for r, I need to present 1. And for you also, I need to present 1. Okay. So for presenting all these ones, okay, that 1, 1, 1, what we are having here is an integer or it is something else? It is an integer, right? But can I pass the integer as the output parameter to the next interface, Divya?
What, Ravi?
Can I pass integer as 1 to the next interface?
No, we have to convert it to int writable.
Yeah, we need to convert that into int writable. So exactly. Thank you. I need to do this one as int writable of 1. I need to specify the thing that I need to define. Right. So this is the function that is done, and this is the function that is done. This is what is your mapper class. This is what is your mapper class like this. I think 1 minute. So one thing what we are doing here, we are using this particular string like this. So let me take out this one. Not required. So removing is there any place where it moves?
Yeah.
We take this free from selection and this is not there. Sorry, 1 minute. This is not there. Okay. For string word that spot split off, what I'm doing here, I'm doing if word dot length is going to be greater than 0, okay, and I also should not have this one. This balance should not be here. If word dot length is going to be greater than 0, what I need to do here? I need to omit this. I need to output this collection of this one, and I need to close this one. I need to close this one as well as I need to close this for loop. Okay. After closing this for loop, the next thing what I need to do is I also need to start closing another loop also as well, right? Another loop also I need to. Okay. So in the next class, I'm going to explain you. How are we processing this particular data. I'll be telling you. Okay, how it is going to be processed and why are we using this particular condition. I'll be telling you. And once it is done, I'll also talk about this particular reducer class. Once the reducer class is done, I'll be telling you what is this driver cloud class. Then we'll go back to the Eclipse and then see how this map reducer class is going to be implemented and how can we execute the program. That is something that we are going to see in the next set of 2 sessions. So Monday and Tuesday are totally devoted for these particular sessions itself. So that is the reason I'm sincerely requesting everybody to install Hadoop virtual machine, and make sure that you go through those basic Java classes and then come up with the familiarity of these interfaces and all before we go ahead and then start implementing them. Okay. Any questions? Please let me know.
Ravi, could you send us the screenshots of today's class?
Yeah, I'll send you. No problem. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll send you the screenshots. And one more thing is that we have this group that is created and everybody is the active participant of that group. So Murli, I can message you in that group, right? Will it be a problem for you?
No, that's fine, Ravi.
So I'll message you in that one, and we'll take it from there. Once this is completed, we'll see one more classical example. Then we start getting into the Hadoop ecosystem. What are those big, what are those hive, and all those things we see, and we'll take it from there. Okay. Now my question to you, Murli and Divya and all. Are you guys clear with what are all the concept that has been covered? Because we have completed almost 2 weeks, right? So are you clear, or any questions you are having? Murli,
I'm good with the concepts which were discussed so far, Ravi.
Murli, how about you?
Yeah, I'm fine, Ravi.
Sure. Okay. So Kamran, you are comfortable?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So we'll take it from there, and next week is going to be very critical. Kindly don't miss any of the classes, and we'll complete this map reduce, and then we'll also start looking into this Hadoop ecosystem also as well. Okay. So I wish you a very good night and good weekend, and then we'll meet on Monday. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
It's the same time. We're gonna be meet at 10 o'clock, correct?
10 o'clock. Yeah. Only for today, 10:30. Okay.
Okay.
Even when we completed
Thank
1 hour, guys. Not that we completed only half an hour. We did a complete class.
Okay, great.
Thank you.